Price of freedom is death. We're coming to get our check.
B1 brothers and sisters, welcome back to the Afro Elite YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Leave a like on this video and share it on your various social media platforms. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. Thank you for coming back. I hope you enjoy the content. I mean, you probably do. That's why you're back. So thank you very much for coming back. I appreciate all of your support as we're growing this channel. Everybody who's new here, everybody who's returning here, everybody who's liking, sharing, commenting, you guys are greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. So in this video, I want to break down a small video of Charles Barkley and his comments on the black community's relationship with the black LGBT community. But before I do that, let me give you another video just so you can kind of get an understanding of the type of person Charles Barkley actually is. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research.
But you also agree with the verdict, right? The verdict in the Zimmerman trial.
You hear on the side, I paid very close attention to the trial, but just on the evidence alone, I think the verdict was fair. Just on the evidence, not he was wrong for racial profiling Trayvon Martin. He was wrong for filing Trayvon Martin. But let me tell you something. Just on the evidence alone, I thought that the verdict was fair.
And that's as much as I can show before I run the risk of getting a copyright strike. But that is under the protection of the Copyright Act because this is for the sake of commentary. But I'm only going to show that much just to be safe. But so you guys know, that is one small clip of Charles Barkley cooning as he does on the regular basis. He does this on the everyday basis, very, very regularly. He's always shucking and jiving. He's always tap dancing. He has just justified the murder of Trayvon Martin by the hands of George Zimmerman, saying that Trayvon Martin became the aggressor after he has already admitted like 10 seconds ago that it was George Zimmerman who racially profiled Trayvon. It was George Zimmerman who pursued Trayvon. It was George Zimmerman who instigated the altercation, and Trayvon Martin was defending himself, but somehow Trayvon Martin was the bad guy and deserved to be killed. So that's according to Charles Barkley, and that has nothing to do with what he said later on in the video. I just wanted you to, if you haven't done so, if you don't know who Charles Barkley is, I just want you to get a little bit of the taste of the type of individual he is and his stance with the black community and how he views other black people. But without any further ado, let's get into the actual video that brings you guys here today.
And one thing has always disappointed me, black people treat gay people, we are the worst when it comes to treating gay people. And that's one thing growing up, it really always bothers me. And I want to reach out to you and all my gay friends, all my transgender friends, and tell you, man, I got nothing but love and respect for you. I want you to be you. And I wanted you to know that day, because I understand being black, what it's like being gay, because you get mistreated, and it's really unfortunate and sad and stupid, to be honest with you.
Now, what he said is very interesting because that happens. The mistreatment of anybody from the LGBT community happens the least, actually, in black society. We are, collectively speaking, we are the most supportive of anybody's lifestyle. We're the least harmful. We're the least hateful group, ethnic group of any people at all, period. Now, I don't condone anybody being mistreated because of their sexuality. I don't condone anybody being harmed because of their sexuality or how they choose to identify. There are some people who dislike that. There are some people who have opinions against that. That is in every other group of people. But what you don't see is you do not see other groups of people. You don't see members of the dominant society, LGBT members of the dominant society. You do not see them blaming homophobia on their society. You don't see Asians blaming homophobia because there's gay Asians, there's gay everybody everywhere. But you don't see them blaming homophobia on their society. You don't say, oh, as a white gay man, the white community has always mistreated. You do not see them doing that. You don't see them doing that. You don't see Asians saying that. You don't see Hispanics saying that. But you are constantly seeing, especially on a public platform, and I've said this before in multiple broadcasts, when black people get on a public platform that is viewed by members of the dominant society, they set them up to finger wag at other black people, which is very, very off code. And Charles Barkley does this all the time. And he's doing this in this example right here. He is on a public platform, CNN, and he's looking at the black community and he's finger wagging, which is co-signing the harm of black people, because that's, oh my God, how black people are so hateful. Oh my God, pushing negative, untrue stereotypes and notions out on black society, putting that on black society. You have all of these other ethnic groups, all of these other societies who are on code enough never to do that, especially publicly onto their society. But you have a whole lot of these celebrity coons, celebrity Sambos who do that all the time because the dominant society gives them butter biscuits and master tells them what to do. And if master tells them what to do, they will obey. But what's interesting about that is that shortly after he says that, we have a hate crime attack, an LGBT hate crime attack in Colorado. And you don't see anybody from the dominant society talking about we need to discuss the homophobia in our society. But let's actually look into that by reading this article. This article is from AP News and was dated November 21st, 2020. Gay bar shooting suspect faces murder hate crime charges. The man suspected of opening fire at a gay nightclub in Colorado Springs was being held on murder and hate crime charges Monday, while hundreds of people gathered to honor the 5 people killed and 17 wounded in the attack on the venue that for decades was a sanctuary for the local LGBTQ community. Anderson Lee Aldridge, 22, faces 5 murder charges and 5 charges of committing a bias-motivated crime causing bodily injury in Saturday night's attack at Club Q, online court records showed. Authorities said the attack was halted by 2 club patrons, including Richard Fierro, who told reporters Monday night that he took a handgun from Aldridge, hit him with it, and pinned him down with the help from another person. Fierro, a 15-year U.S. Army veteran who owns a local brewery, said he was celebrating a birthday with family members when the suspect came in shooting. Fierro said during the lull in the shooting he ran at the suspect, who was wearing some type of armor plates, and pulled him down before severely beating him until police arrived. Quote, "I tried to save people, and it didn't work for 5 of them," he said. "These are all good people. I am not a hero. I'm just some dude." Fierro's daughter's longtime boyfriend, Raymond Green Vince, 22, was killed while his daughter hurt her knee as she ran for cover. Fierro injured his hands, knees, and ankle while stopping the shooter. The suspect remained hospitalized with unspecific injuries, but is expected to make his first court appearance in the next couple of days after doctors clear him to be released from the hospital. The charges against Aldridge were preliminary, and prosecutors had not filed formal charges in court yet. The hate crime charges would require proving that the gunman was motivated by bias, such as against the victim's actual or perceived sexual orientation or gender identity. Local and federal authorities during a Monday news briefing declined to answer questions about why hate crime charges are being considered, citing the ongoing investigation. District Attorney Michael Allen noted that the murder charge would carry the harshest penalty, life in prison, whereas bias crimes are eligible for probation. Quote, "But it is important to let the community know that we do not tolerate bias-motivated crimes in this community, that we support communities that have been maligned, harassed, and intimidated and abused," Allen said. "And that one way that we do that, showing that we will put the money where our mouths is, essentially, and make sure that we try it that way. Additional charges are possible as the investigation continues," he said. About 200 people gathered Monday night in the cold at a city park for a community vigil for the shooting's victims. People held candles, embraced and listened as speakers on stage expressed both rage and sadness over the shooting. Jeremiah Harris, who is 24 and gay, said he went to Club Q a couple times a month and recognized one of the victims as the bartender who always served him. He said hearing others speak at the vigil was galvanizing following the attack at for what more than 20 years had been considered an LGBTQ safe spot in the conservative leaning city. Quote, gay people have been here as long as people have been here, Harris said. To everyone else that's opposed to that, we're not going anywhere. We're just getting louder and you have to deal with it. The other victims were identified by authorities and family members as Ashley Pegg, 35, a mother who helped find homes for foster children, Daniel Aston, 28, who had worked at the club as a bartender and entertainer, Kelly Loving, 40, whose sister described her as caring and sweet, and Derek Rump, 38, another club bartender who was known for his quick wit and adopting his friends and family. Vince's family said in a statement that the Colorado Springs native was adored by his family and had recently gotten a job at FedEx, where he hoped to save enough money to get his own apartment. Thomas James was identified by authorities as the other person who intervened to stop the shooter. Firo said a third person also helped, a performer at the club who Firo said kicked the suspect in the head when she ran by. Court documents laying out Aldridge's arrest had been sealed at the request of prosecutors. Information on whether Aldridge had a lawyer was not immediately available. A law enforcement official said the suspect used an AR-15 style semi-automatic weapon. A handgun and additional ammunition magazines also were recovered. The official could not discuss details of the investigation publicly and spoke to AP on condition of anonymity. 13 victims remain hospitalized Monday, officials said. 5 people have been treated and released. Officials on Monday clarified that 18 people were hurt in the attack, not 25 as they said originally. Among them was a person whose injuries was not a gunshot wound. Another victim had no visible injuries, they said. Colorado Springs, a city of about 480,000, is 70 miles, 110 kilometers south of Denver. Mayor John Suthers said there was, quote, reason to hope, end quote, all of the hospitalized victims would recover. The assault quickly raised questions about why authorities did not seek to take Aldridge's guns away from him in 2021, when he was arrested after his mother reported he threatened her with a homemade bomb and other weapons. Though authorities at the time said no explosives were found, gun control advocates have asked why police did not use Colorado's, quote, red flag law to seize the weapon his mother said he had. There's no public record prosecutors even move forward with felony kidnap and menace charges against Aldridge. It was the 6th mass killing this month, and it came in a year when the nation was shaken by the deaths of 21 in a school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. It also rekindled memories of 2016 massacre of the Pulse gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida that killed 49 people. President Joe Biden talked to Colorado Governor Richard Polis by phone and will continue to press Congress for an assault weapons ban, quote, because thoughts and prayers aren't just enough, White House spokesman Karine Jean-Pierre said Monday. A makeshift memorial that sprung up in the hours after the attack continued to grow Monday as a stream of mourners brought flowers and left messages in support of the LGBTQ community. The shooting site remained cordoned off. I have a lot to say about the previous situation with the Colorado shooting, but I'm going to save that for another video because I want to keep this video focused on Charles Barkley. But The reason why I pointed that situation out is because I want you to understand how, even though there is homophobia, major cases of deadly fatal homophobia in other communities, you don't see them pointing the finger at themselves. But yet you have Charles Barkley, who cannot name one single incident that is remotely close to the incident that I just showed you guys. He can't name one single incident of a black person doing that to black LGBT or LGBT in general, but he's saying that we are the most homophobic, we are the worst to the LGBT community. So I have a couple more opinions on the situation that I just read to you guys, but I'll save that for another video. I'm only using that to give a juxtaposition to show that Charles Barkley didn't make any sense and was lying in that statement he made in CNN. Brothers and sisters, thank you so much for watching. If you like this content, please make sure you subscribe to the channel so we can continue making more content like this. Hit that notification bell so you won't miss out on any time I go live or I make a post. Share this on your various social media platforms so other people can see this content and I can get other people's opinion, and leave a like. Thank you very much. It's greatly needed and much appreciated. I appreciate every single last one of you guys for watching. I appreciate every single last one of you all for sharing, liking, and subscribing. With that being said, be one salute to you, brothers and sisters. Y'all have a good one.